Good morning, everyone. We're on the record. Good morning. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with DC Official Code Section 2576 of the Open Meetings Act, I'm welcoming you to the regular scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to guidance made available by the District of Columbia's Office of Open Government regarding electronic meetings held by public bodies during the public health emergency. Pursuant to this guidance, notice of today's meeting was provided 48 hours in advance of the meeting on ABRA's website and on the district's central meeting calendar. The notice included the time, date, agenda, and call-in or login information for public participation. This electronic meeting is being hosted by a WebEx account provided by the District of Columbia government. Please address any questions or complaints to the OOG at opengovoffice@dc.gov. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairman of the board. I would like to introduce the other members of the ABC board who are also participating electronically pursuant to Mayor's Order 2020-054. Please respond when I announce your name. Mr. Bobby Cato.
Bobby Cato, present.
Ms. Rima Wahabzada.
Rima Wahabzada, present.
Ms. Jenny Hansen.
Jenny Hansen, present.
Mr. Edward Grandis.
Edward Grandis, present.
The board has 5 members in attendance for the conduct of business today, and that constitutes a quorum. Before we get underway with today's hearing calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of this hearing is understood by everyone. There are 6 cases on our calendar for today. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for our IT specialists to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to enable your equipment. If your case is not being heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphones for the concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them using the question and answer feature or email simone.andrews2@dc.gov. Our first order of business today is case number 21, PRO 00006, King Convenience Store, license number 089932. This hearing has been canceled due to the dismissal of the license renewal application. See board order number 2021-062. The next case in our calendar is case number 21, PRO 00005, New 7 Market, license number 113576. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the protestants and the licensee in this case, please?
Sure, stand by. Ms. White, your rights have been elevated. Mr. Lee, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Good morning, everyone. This is a protest hearing for New 7 Market, and I would like the parties to introduce themselves for the record. We'll start with the licensee's representative.
Good morning, board members. Good morning, board members. My name is Kevin Lee, Kevinlee. I'm an attorney for a protest matter on New 7 Market.
Good morning, Mr. Lee. Is the licensee going to be here today, or is it just you?
Unfortunately, she couldn't join today due to her doctor's appointment.
Yes, that's fine. Ms. White, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jamila White, Commissioner 8805.
Good morning, Ms. White. This is a protest hearing status. Are there any preliminary matters that either side needs to bring to the attention of the board?
Yeah, we had a mediation and we decided to get another mediation on March 2nd. And we agreed to negotiate further.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I wish you continued success on your mediation. If the parties are able to come to a settlement agreement, the board, of course, endorses and supports that. If it has to go to hearing, then of course the board will do that. I do not have a date at this moment for the protest hearing, but so the parties, the board, however, will provide the parties with a date and time of the protest hearing if it goes for a protest hearing. But what I will say though is that, as I said before, the board supports settlements. At the end of the day, this is an establishment that's within the community, and if the community and the licensee can come up to some type of an agreement, at least both sides will leave this matter happy with the results of their discussion. All right. Now that we've scheduled this matter for protest hearing, there are a few things that I would like to instruct you about because the board's practices under the COVID-19 restrictions have changed. As you know, the board's hearings are conducted virtually, so it is more important than ever that protest hearings are focused and addresses only those issues that are being protested. Following this hearing, you will be receiving an email from April Randall that will include a copy of the protest information form PIP and a copy of an exhibit form, as well as specific instructions for the hearing. You are required to complete this and submit the PIP and exhibit forms at least 7 days before the date of the hearing. If we do not receive a copy of your form 7 days before the hearing, your application and/or your protest may be subject to dismissal. These documents need to be submitted to abra.legal.dc.gov and to the opposing parties. Please know that these documents greatly assist the board in narrowing the protest issues, facilitating the process, and keeping the parties on point during the hearing. Each side is limited to no more than 5 witnesses, and you will only have 60 minutes to present your case. This includes all direct and cross-examination. The board does not intend to hear testimony on matters that are not relevant to these issues that are being protested. Does anyone have any questions on what I just stated?
No.
Okay, thank you. We thank you greatly for your cooperation. If you have any questions at any time leading up to the hearing, please do not hesitate to contact Assistant General Counsel April Randall at 202-329-6354, or you can also contact her by email. Again, I'm glad that I see that you guys had mediation on the 16th, and then another mediation is scheduled for March 2nd. I want to wish you good luck in your mediation. If you're unable to mediate this matter and you have to go to a protest hearing, I will see you. But as I always say, if this matter doesn't result in a protest hearing, then the board is happy because it says that the parties were able to come to a mutually agreeable agreement on the operation of the establishment. Thank you very much and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
The next case in our calendar is case number 21 PRO 00007. Menix Mart, license number 1113420. This hearing is canceled due to the submission of a settlement agreement for the board's review and consideration. The next case on our calendar is case number 21 PRO 00004. Air Restaurant, license number 117404. Ms. Randall, can you please elevate the rights of the protestants and so there's a protestant, there is, there are two ANC, there's ANC, the Kalorama Citizens Association, I believe. They are the protestants in this case.
Sure, stand by. Mr. or Miss Ndarji, your rights have been elevated. Mr. Boyles, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, your rights have been elevated. Mr. Blanchard, your rights have been elevated. Mr. Chair, we also have a call-in from Mr. Dennis James. I'm going to go ahead and unmute his line. Mr. Chair.
That's it?
That's all.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. If you have a camera, could you please open your camera? You can also when you need to speak, you can also open your microphone. So I'll ask that if you're not speaking, that you keep your microphone on mute. But however, I think that everyone has the ability, or everyone should be able to show us, open their camera if they so desire. Well, I would prefer, so at least I can see who it is that I'm speaking to. All right. So we can start with the licensee. Who's the licensee? Can we have the licensee identify and spell his or her name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Henock Ndarji, Henock, first name. Last name is Ndarji, Andargie.
Good morning, Mr. Ndarji. All right. Let's have the ANC representative introduce himself for the record, please. Mr. Bowles, can you unmute your telephone and identify yourself for the record, please?
Mr. Chair, I do see him twice, so I'm going to go ahead and elevate the other. Okay. Mr. Bowles, your rights have been elevated on both. You're logged in twice.
Oh, great. Sorry about that. I don't use WebEx, and I had to redo it to get my video started. So everyone can see and hear me. Japer Bowles, JAPER BOWLES, protesting on behalf of ANC 1C.
Good morning. Mr. Blanchard, who do you represent?
Good morning, Chairman Anderson and members of the board. I am representing the applicant, which is Treehouse 2473 LLC, trading as Air Restaurant. Okay,
I apologize. I was not.
No, that's okay.
All right. So good. All right. So good morning, Mr. Blanchard. Mr. James, please. Can you please identify for the record, please?
Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. This is Dennis James, DENIS JAMES. I'm president of the Kalorama Citizens Association, and of course representing them today.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. Are there any preliminary matters that need to be brought to the attention of the board? By either side, by either Mr. Blanchard, any preliminary matters that need to be brought to the attention of the board?
Not other than we did have a mediation on the 17th, and that went well. I think we made aired some ideas, and we have tentatively scheduled a second mediation on March 4th. And we did hear from Ms. Randall after the mediation that the original hearing date of April 21st has been rescheduled to May 12th due to Emancipation Week.
Oh, Mr. Blanchard, you know more than I do. I don't have a date to, I don't have a date on my calendar to schedule the protest here for. So you are, you are ahead, because I normally when we do these protests here in Status, I have a date to provide, but I don't have the date because the date wasn't given to me. So thank you for well, I'm not going to schedule it because the date has not officially been given to me by the agency, so I'm not going to put a date in the calendar. But I believe that then that might that can work with that. So I'm glad to hear that you had a first mediation and that you have another mediation. The board supports settlements of all these matters because it has always been my position, because at the end of the day, this is an establishment that's going to be in the community. This is not, I'm sorry, this is a new license. So this is an establishment that might or might not be in the community. And if it's in the community, then if it's going to be in the community, at least the parties, if they're able to sign an agreement, then at least everyone would leave at the end of the day and be happy. If you come to the board for the board to make a decision, then one side will be happy. And one thing I'll say, if this matter is not settled, and if it has to go to a hearing, one of the things I'll ask the parties to make it clear to the board, is it that are you in favor of having this establishment? Now, I'm not asking to answer now, but I'm just saying, if we were to have a protest hearing, one thing that at the beginning of the hearing, I'll ask parties to do, to say, all right, okay, approve the license, but approve the license with some restrictions, or don't approve the license. So that's what I want. If we go to a protest hearing, that the parties can say, this is our position. So because it's easy, at least the board will know clearly what the positions are. Because sometimes, yeah, I like the business, but we want to curtail some hours and put some restrictions in, or no, this is not the type of business that we want for our neighborhood. So therefore, what I'm telling the board to do is deny the license. So just make that clear to us if that's what the position is going to be. But I always like to hear that people are talking, because the more you talk, then the more one will know that there's, and I'm assuming that the discussions will be fruitful. Okay, so if there are no other preliminary issues, now that we're scheduled, and yes, we're scheduled for a protest hearing, but the date has not been. I don't have a date to provide to you. There are a few things that I would like to instruct you about, because the board's practices on the COVID-19 restrictions have changed. As you know, the board's hearings are conducted virtually, so it is more important than ever that protest hearings are focused and addresses only those issues that are being protested. 1, following this hearing, you will receive an email from the Assistant General Counsel, Ms. April Randall, that will include a copy of a protest information form and a copy of an exhibit form, as well as specific instructions for the hearing. You are required to complete and submit the PIP and exhibit forms at least 7 days before the date of the hearing. If we do not receive a copy of your forms 7 days before the hearing, your application or your protest may be subject to dismissal. These documents need to be submitted to abra.legal@dc.gov and to the opposing parties. Please know that these documents greatly assist the board in narrowing the protest issues, facilitating the process, and keeping the parties on point during the hearing. Each side, this is very important, this is one of the major changes that we've made. Each side is limited to no more than 5 witnesses, and you will only have 60 minutes to present your case. This includes all direct and cross-examination. The board does not intend to hear testimony on matters that are not relevant to those issues that are being protested. Are there any questions by anyone?
No questions.
No questions, all right.
Yeah, no questions from the Calorama citizens, and I just wanted to say, that I generally concur with what Mr. Blanchard stated regarding our where we stand with discussions. This is Dennis James.
Thank you, Thank you for that, Mr. James. And one thing I will also state, that this matter has been protested by the ANC and the Civic Association and the Citizens Association. Just as an FYI, if the ANC signs a settlement agreement, the Civic Association, if the Civic Association does not sign off on the settlement agreement, the Civic Association still has, they can still stand and move forward, and vice versa. So if it was a group, then if there's a settlement agreement, the group would not have. But just as an FYI, and the board cannot force either side the board cannot direct either side to have someone join a settlement agreement, because both sides individually have standing to move forward with this protest hearing. Anyway, but we thank you greatly for your cooperation. If you have any questions at any time leading up to the hearing, please do not hesitate to contact Assistant General Counsel April Randall at 202-329-6354. I thank you very much for your participation here today. The board supports, as I stated, settlement agreements. As I said, I'm excited that the parties have agreed to have another mediation. And if I don't see you at a protest hearing, the board will not take it personally, because it will tell me that the parties have agreed to come to a mutually agreeable determination on the operation of this establishment. So good luck on your mediation, and have a great day. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Chairman Anderson.
All right, then, you're welcome. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The next case, that ends our morning session. We had a afternoon protest hearing, case number 20 PRO 00046, Apparel, license number 116925. This hearing is canceled due to the board's approval of a settlement agreement, see board order number 2021-099. The next case that was on our calendar is case number 20 PRO 00012, Hawthorne, license number 99603. This hearing is canceled due to submission of a settlement agreement for the board's review and consideration. There ends our calendar events for the day. What I will now do is that I'm going to do our docket. Our docket is basically licensees that changes are being made to the license, either the issuance of a license or some changes being made to the license. So what I will do is that I will read the name of the licensee. I will read what type of establishment they are and the change that's been recommended. At the end, I will call all the licensees, license establishment, and at the end, I will make a motion that the board approve the changes that are being requested. So the first establishment that's on our docket is a request from DC Holistic Wellness Center, license number MMP00840 and then I think the IBRA license is 117380. This is a cannabis dispensary. This is a trade name change application, and the new name will be Cannabliss. The next applicant on our docket is a request made by Willie's Brew and Q, license number 108128. This is a retailer C Tavern, and it's a trade name change application. The new name will be Stadium Sports Bar Plus Smokehouse. The next request is a request made by Wazi, license number 109570. This is a retailer C Restaurant. This is a trade name change application. The new name will be Cachis, K-A-C-H-I-S, Tacos and Cantina. The next request is a request made by Los Cortes Restaurant, license number 079261. This is a retailer C restaurant. This is a letter request for removal of Mauricio A. Sepulveda, Sepulveda, as president. The next request is a request made by Marriott at Metro Center, license number 117396. This is a retailer B 25% establishment. This is a change of officer application to add Joseph C. Ottinger as vice president and treasurer. The next request has been made by Marriott at Metro Center, license number 117396. This is a retailer C hotel. This again is a change of officer application to add Joseph C. Ottinger as vice president and treasurer. The next request on this docket is a request from Apera DC, license number 116925. This is a retailer C restaurant. This is a new ABC license application. I then make a motion that the board approve the requests that were made by these licensees that I just read in the record. Is there a second?
Bobby Cato, second.
Mr. Cada, I second the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been probably seconded by Mr. Cada. Mr. Cada.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada.
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Henson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Edward Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 5-0. We are now at the end of our scheduled calendar and agenda for the day. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with Title III, Chapter 405, Office of Open Government, I move that the ABC Board hold a closed meeting on March 3rd, 2021 for the purpose of discussing and hearing reports concerning ongoing or planned investigations of alleged criminal or civil misconduct or violations of law or regulations, and seeking legal advice from our legal counsel on the board's investigative agenda, legal agenda, and licensing agenda for March 3rd, 2021, as published in the DC Register on February 26, 2021. Is there a second?
Wabzada seconds.
Ms. Wahabzada second the motion. I will now take a roll call vote on the motion that has now been seconded. Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada.
Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Edward Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. As it appears that the motion has passed, I hereby give notice that the ABC Board will hold this aforementioned closed meeting. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, notice will also be posted on the ABC Board Hearing Room Bulletin Board, placed on the electronic calendar on the ABRA's website, and published in the DC Register in as timely a manner as practical. We're now adjourned for the day. I want to thank the public for participating in this hearing today, and I now direct the board members to return to executive session for further meetings. Have a good day and thank you very much.